Alright guys, so in this video, we'll look at the organization of life. This is among the foundational topics we have in biology. Alright, so the first thing you have to understand is that there are actually four levels of organization, four of them, and they are ranked from the lowest to the highest. You see that now? Now, the first level, that is the lowest level of organization of life, is what we call a cell. Alright? Then the next level is what we call the tissues. Right? Yes. And the third level is what we call the organs. Organs. And our number four, which is the last, is what we call systems. So, quick one. How can you tell what mnemonic rather would you use to remember this? It's easy. The mnemonic that I often recommend people use is the C tools. C tools. That is because C stands for cell, T stands for tissue, O stands for organs, and of course S stands for systems. Now, if you want to recall the organization of life really quick, this mnemonic should help you really quick. Now, let's come back to explaining them right now. Now, basically, what is a cell? The cell is simply the smallest unit of life. It is the smallest unit of life, and the cell is placed on the first level. So, for a typical biology test, that is the easiest definition, the most basic or fundamental definition you can use when defining a cell, the smallest unit of life. Now, the next thing you have to understand is that cells are actually divided into two main types, and there are the unicellular and the multicellular organisms. So it means some organisms have this kind of cell. Uni here means one. So when you say uni, what do you mean here is one? And when you say multi, what do you mean is two and above? Now, organisms with this kind of cell possess just one kind of cell, just one cell in them. And examples of such organisms are the amoeba, the paramecium, the euglena, and the chlamydomonas. These organisms possess just one cell. Alright, so I'll make a different video to explain that in detail. And organisms with organisms that are multicellular rather, are organisms that possess two or more cells. Examples include man in general, animals, trees, etc. Now, that is pretty much it for cells. Alright, so moving on right now to tissues really quick. So what exactly is tissue? Tissue simply refers to the collection of similar cells. Collection of similar cells. That is basically what tissue is. While cell we talked about is the smallest unit of life. Tissue here is the collection. Collection means the aggregation of similar cells. And if you move on to organ, which is on the third level, organ is the collection of similar tissues. So basically what is happening here is that as we're going from bottom to top, alright, the next one becomes a collection of the previous. So here we have tissues. It is a collection of similar cells. Then we had organs, which became the collection of similar tissues. And of course, I believe you can guess what systems be. Of course, system here is a collection of similar organs. that is tissues, similar organs. So this is basically what you have to understand. Very, very important to know them like this. Now, the other way you can be asked questions from this particular area is that you'll be asked to give examples of organisms on the cell level, or organisms on the tissue level, or examples of organisms on the organ or on the system level. So having given you this definition, we'll wrap this up right now and we'll focus on the examples, which is another crucial part of this particular area. So these are likely questions. Sorry, these are likely questions in any typical external exam. Now, what are examples of organisms on the cell level? I made mention of some of them before. We talked about organisms with one cell, and we mentioned amoeba, paramecium, euglena, and chlamydomonas. And of course, I have a mnemonic for you to use. I will recommend you use APEC. APEC here stands for organisms with one cell. That's amoeba, paramecium, euglena, and chlamydomonas. So all of these organisms are unicellular. So it means they possess just one cell. Then the next, we have the multicellular organisms. Here includes man. We have man. We have things like monkey. We have trees. All of this you see are multicellular. Multicellular. So that's it. Now, for the tissues, examples of organisms on the tissue level, well, we have organisms like parenchyma tissues, Then we have sclerenchyma tissues, sclerenchyma tissues. Then we have other examples like xylem tissues, etc. Now, I'm going to rub this off so I can have some space to write the examples of organs and the ones for systems. Now, examples of organisms on the organ level. One of the most common examples we normally ask you the organs, the one pertaining to animals. So, examples of things on the organ level, we have things like the skin. By the way, the skin is the largest organ on the body. That is the largest external organ. Then we have the liver. The liver is also an organ. Now, I want to make you understand something. The liver you see, right, is the largest internal organ. When it comes to internal, liver is the largest internal organ, and the skin is the largest external organ. So it means outside, the skin is the largest, inside, the liver is the largest. But when the question does not specify whether it is internal or external, let's say you are asked what is the largest organ in or on the body, and the question wasn't specific, please and please go for skin. All right. Other examples of organs we have we have the brain. The brain is an organ. We have the heart. It's an organ. Then we have the kidney. Kidney is an organ. So these ones are for animals like humans and other animals alike. Then for plants, we have organs like the onion bulb. Then we have organs like roots. It falls on the organ level. Then we have organs like flowers. It falls on the organ level. Now, by the way, I'm wiping this off right now so I can go into systems. All right. Now, let's see systems. I can possibly ask you to give some examples of what falls on the system. And now we define system already as a collection, that is the aggregation of similar organs. Now, what are examples of systems in higher animals? Of course, anything that has system attached is qualified to fall on the system level, which is the fourth. So we have examples like the respiratory system, respiratory systems. We have other examples like the digestive systems. We have the reproductive system and many more. So these ones are for humans and animals. Then for plants, the one that fall on the system level, we have the roots and the shoot systems. So that is pretty much it for this video. I believe you learned something. So as a recap, we said the four organizations of life are the cell, which is the first, the tissue, second, the organs, third, and the system, fourth. So we are ranking from highest to lowest. And then we define them individually. Then we give examples. So I believe you took a lot of notes into this class and go over this video again, go over the notes you wrote. And that is it for this video. If you enjoyed the video, do leave a comment below, sharing your thoughts, give the video a thumbs up, and subscribe if you haven't, so you can help support the channel. And help me share the video to your friends to help us reach a larger number of audience. And thanks for watching.